Reading Srimad Bhagavatam 429.4 Yada Jikrasyan Purushaha Tasnena Prakrite Gunan Navadvaram Trihastangiri Tatra Manuta Sadhaviti Yada, when Jikrasyan, desiring to enjoy, Purushaha, the living entity, Karshnyena, in total, Prakritehe, of material nature, Gunan, the modes, Navadvaram, having 9 gates, Divi, 2, Hasta, hands, Angiri, legs, Tatra, there, Amanuta, he thought, Sadhu, very good, Iti, thus. Translation: when the living entity wants to enjoy the modes of material nature in their totality, he prefers out of many bodily forms to accept that body which has 9 gates, 2 hands and 2 legs. Thus he prefers to become a human being or a demigod. When the living entity wants to enjoy the modes of material nature, in their totality, he prefers out of many bodily forms to accept the body which has 9 gates, 2 hands and 2 legs. Thus, Jai Sri Radha. Thus he prefers to become a human being or a demigod. Purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This is a very nice explanation of how the spiritual being, the part and parcel of Krishna, God, accepts the material body by virtue of his own desires. Accepting 2 hands, 2 legs and so on, the living entity fully enjoys the modes of material nature. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ichadvesya samutena dvanda mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sargayanti parantapa. Vaskena Bharata Arjuna, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, overcome by the dualities of desire and hate. Originally the living entity is a spiritual being. But when he actually desires to enjoy this material world, he comes down from this verse, he comes down. From this verse we can understand that the living entity first accepts a body that is in the human form. This is something that sometimes it says that you come as Lord Brahma. But gradually, due to his degraded activities, he falls into lower forms of life, into the animal, plant and aquatic forms. By the gradual process of evolution, the living entity again attains the body of a human being and is given another chance to get out of the process of transmigration. He again misses his chance in the human form to understand his position. He is again placed in the cycle of birth and death in various types of bodies. The desire of the living entity to come into material world is not very difficult to understand. Although one may be born in a family of Aryans where there are restrictions against meditating, intoxication, gambling and illicit sex, still one may want to enjoy these forbidden things. There is always someone who wants to go to a prostitute for illicit sex, to a hotel, Prabhupada used the word hotel, actually it's a restaurant, to eat meat and drink wine, or to a gambling club to enjoy so-called sports. What is so-called sports? Gaming machine, yeah? And also playing computer games. Yeah? Also, all these propensities are already within the heart of the living entities. Loke yavam yamisa madhya seva nitya he chantuhu. Some living entities can check the desire to enjoy these abominable activities, but others cannot and consequently fall down to a degraded platform. The more one desires a degraded life within his heart, the more he falls down to occupy different forms of abominable existence. This is the process of transmigration and evolution. A particular type of animal may have strong tendency to enjoy one kind of sense enjoyment. But in the human form, one can enjoy all the senses. The human form has the facility to utilize all the senses for gratification. Unless one is properly trained, he becomes a victim of the modes of material nature as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 3:27. Prakriti Kiryamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvashaha Ahankara Vimudatma Kartaham Iti Manyate. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by nature. As soon as one desires to enjoy his senses, he put himself under the control of material energy and automatically or mechanically is placed into the cycle of birth and death in various life forms. So this is a very interesting verse. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Gnanam Ganashilakaya Chakshuzam Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swarupa Kadama Vidati Swapadandika Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudhagadatam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Rupam Sivajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Saji Shadvitam Shabdutam Parijanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamasya Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shabanu Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyayevacha Titanam Bhavane Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisheshu Shunyavadi Paschati Distarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you very much for coming on board. 429.4. So here, the living entity, if he wants to enjoy the senses, then out of we discussed the last class, right? 8.4 million species, yes? And among these 8.4 million species, this living entity desire the topmost, that means human body or the body of demigods, right? So why desire this body of the human being or demigod? Why?
Well, we can enjoy all senses. We can enjoy all senses.
Yes. As we have explained that the living entity only in the body of a human or demigod can utilize all the senses for sense gratification to the fullest. Eating, seeing, hearing, correct, smelling. What are the five senses? Tasting, touching. How many senses you have? 8. 8 senses. 5 senses and 5 working senses. What are the 5 working senses? The eyes, the ears, knowledge acquiring. So working senses, the genitals, the anus, 2. The hands touching, and the tongue tasting,
not tasting, speech.
The feet walk.
Speech, tongue or speech.
Tongue? Talking. And tongue. Working senses. The senses are the eyes and all that 5. Working senses, and then object of the senses. The eyes is the sight, the ears is the sound, like that. So 5, 5, 5, 15. And then the mind, 16. And then the spirit soul, 17. And the super soul, 18. So the breakdown is like that. So, it is explained here that if you want to enjoy the senses, I think in this verse, the creation of the human being who are of one species only and who stock their eatables in the belly is the 9th in the rotation. In the human race, the mode of passion is very prominent. Humans are always busy in the midst of miserable life, but they think themselves happy in all respects. This is another point about the human created being. Understand? So because Prabhupada explained, the human beings are the most passionate than the animals, and thus the sex life of the human being is most irregular. That's a fact, isn't it? The animals have their due time for sexual intercourse, but the human being has no regular time for such activities. The human being is endowed with a higher advanced stage of consciousness for getting relief from the existence of material miseries. But due to his ignorance, he thinks that his higher consciousness is meant for advancing in material comfort of life. Thus his intelligence is misused in the animal propensity, eating, sleeping, defending and mating. Instead of spiritual realization, by advancing in material comfort, the human being puts himself into a more miserable condition. But illusioned by material energy, he always thinks himself happy, even while in the midst of misery. Such misery of human life is distinct from the natural comfort life enjoyed even by the animals. So when the human being, you see here, wants to enjoy the senses, primarily it's because his mode of passion. So he is very much attracted by sex life. That's the base. So if the human being goes into this category of trying to enjoy the senses, then it is explained here, then they become like this. This is how they go. No, I think it's 16. Yeah? 19, not this. 19. So this is how they act like this. 18 it starts, this whole thing about trying to enjoy the senses. This is how it is. Do the trees not leave? Do the bellows of blacksmith not breathe? And all around now, do the bees not eat and discharge semen? How here, materialistic man is compared to this kind of a life. Of course, you can read the purport here. Swavet varaha hostra karai samsuta purushaha pasu nayat karna patopeto jatu nama gadagrajaha. Men who are like dogs, hawks, camels and asses praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, the deliverer from evil. So anyone who going to the sense gratification platform, then they are no better than dogs, hawks, camels and asses. In other words, if you don't use your senses for Krishna consciousness, then you are going to use your senses for the animal propensity. Okay? So then it says also such people, they are not only like dogs and pigs, camel and asses. You can read the purport. Why these four animals are chosen. You can read the purport. Very important. So then again, this is how they act. One who has not listened to the messages about the progress and marvelous acts of the personality of Godhead, has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy song about the Lord, is to be considered to possess ear holes like the holes of snakes and a tongue like the tongue of a frog. So now two more animals are added. Right? Already 4, now 2 more plus. What is that?
Snake and frog.
The frog and the snake. Understand? That means if you don't become God conscious, you come under these categories. Then, some more, not finished, yeah? Baraha param patta kiriti justam, bara burden. The upper portion of the body, though crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden if not bowed down before the personality of Godhead, who can award mukti. And the hands, though decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man if not engaged in the service of the personality of Hari. Of course, now we don't do bangles, we are doing this thing. Right? Let's see what kind of watch you got. Decorated with Rolex. Yes? Okay? And then the head, of course, they don't put any more crowns. But nevertheless, if you are not using it to bow down, that means your head is what? Burden. Then what else? Actually, that's a fact. Nobody bows down anymore. Yes? That's the problem, everybody got his head and nobody is bowing down. They invented the new style, they touch the floor and put on the head. Have you seen that? I've seen it, everybody coming. That means they bow down, is it? Have you seen that? See how they are inventing. So then, the eyes which do not look at the symbolic representation of the personality of Godhead Vishnu, his form, name and quality, are like those printed on the plumes of peacock. And the legs which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered are considered to be tree trunks. Right? Peacock has got eyes, right? And what is the use of the eyes in the peacock feather? They're useless. You understand? So this is how we are trying to enjoy all our senses and not engage in the service of the Lord. We're living like an animal, actually. A person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. So the breakdown goes. All the senses, if they engage in sense gratification, this is how it is. And finally it comes to the heart. The last thing is the heart, correct? This is the asma saram. Hirdayam, heart. See? So what is the heart? Certainly the heart is steel frame, which in spite of one chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration, does not change even when one displays such signs of transformation as tears in the eyes and ecstatic standing of the hairs on end. In other words, if you come and chant and the heart is not changing, then it's called stone-hearted. It is stone-hearted. So why we are pointing out all these verses? Because it will show that if we don't use our body for the purpose of the Lord, then we are compared to this, all this. In other words, we are living like an animal. For one who tries to enjoy the senses, there is no question of going to God. Yes? You know, right? Where the verse, right? Huh? You know? If you enjoy the senses, then you cannot go to God. You know the verses? Yes or no? Don't know. Huh? Don't know. Quiet. What happened? Bhagavad Gita. Oh, see, one say everybody, 245, everybody. Huh? I don't want to use this word, it should be common already, everybody should. Another verse. Bhagavad Gita, where? 3? This one I quote many times. I don't want that verse also. I thought you should know by heart already, on your fingertips. Actually, I was reading and I found this verse, I'm going to show you another verse. Anyway, you remember 244, 316. Of course, I've already explained this part so many times. 316, then I'll go to 9, Moga, Shamo, Karmano, Moga, Vitetuza. Then I go to 16. But this verse is also very important here. Bhagavad Gita, what is called renunciation you should know to be the same as yoga, for linking oneself with the Supreme. O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounce the desire for sense gratification. That's this point. In other words, you forget it. They're teaching this yoga for sense gratification. Correct? It is bogus of the bogus. You follow? Krishna is... yoga is not to what? Have what? Usually their yoga is to have more sex life. And here Krishna is saying, you want to use your yoga for sense gratification, that is bogus. So the human body now, two functions. You can enjoy it to the max, or you can use it for promotion, either to the heavenly planet, higher life, or liberation. I'll come to that. Now we're talking about sense gratification. So what happens if you misuse your body? What happens? If you misuse your body, then immediately you will do sinful activities. Correct? And if you do sinful activities, then you're going to take lower and lower birth. Actually, you're going to go to hell. That is there. 16:16 Bhagavad Gita, right? I think I don't want to show because you should know, right? Anyway, we will show, just show for people who don't know. Here Krishna is saying, see, Aneka chitta vibranta. Vibranta means what? Bewildered. Mohajala samamvritaha. Prasakta kama bhogeshu. Patanti narake asucha. So then, Sanskrit, you can see already what's going on. So, thus, perplexed by various anxieties and bound by networks of illusion, they become too strongly attached to the sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. There is no such thing as attached to sense gratification and promoting oneself to not possible. If you want to get promoted to higher thing, heavenly planet and all that, then you must engage in performing austerities, sacrifice. Correct? So now it is very clear. If I want to enjoy my senses, then it is going to be bad news. Yes? So now we will talk about, see this verse here. So here, what mortal man, having achieved this human life, which is the very gateway to both heaven and liberation, would willingly become attached to the board of worthlessness, material property. So human life can award promotion to where? Heaven or liberation? Yes? Understand? So now let's go into this point of going to the heavenly life. What happens if you go to the heavenly life?
Live for many years till your piety is finished, then you come back to the world.
This is there in 9:21 Bhagavad Gita. For those who are not familiar, you go to Bhagavad Gita 9:21. After enjoying Chine Punya Mate Loka Vishanti, you come back again. But I am going to show you in the 11th canto. I think there's two sections here, 11:20 and 11:10. Two parts. It is explained very clearly what happens. So here in the Bhagavad Gita also it says, you want to go up, you worship the demigod. Yes? Yanti Deva Vritan Devan, right? So if you worship demigod, you go. Where are you going here? If on earth one performs sacrifice for the satisfaction of the demigod, he goes to the heavenly planet, where just like demigod he enjoys all of the heavenly pleasure he has earned by his performance. There he goes. It is not that he won't go, he will go. Having achieved the heavenly planet, the performer of ritualistic sacrifice travels in glowing airplane What's that? Glowing? You don't have to buy tickets, Huh? No need to buy ticket, no visa, no nothing. No quarantine. Yeah? Which he obtains by the result of his piety on earth, being glorified by songs sung by the Gandharva. No need to put this earphone, always hearing these songs. Here also paining, I put long time pain, correct? Here live music, right? Gandharvas and dress in wonderful charming clothes. No need to buy your jeans and what? Polo. And enjoys life surrounded by heavenly goddesses. Wow. Right? Then what happens? Accompanied by heavenly woman, the enjoyer of the fruits of sacrifice goes on pleasure rides in wonderful airplane with decorated circles and tinkling bells, and which flies wherever he desires. Being relaxed and comfortable and happy in the heavenly pleasure garden, he does not consider that he is exhausting the fruits of his piety and will soon fall down to the mortal world. Right? Then what happens? Gosh, this is what happens. Until his pious results are used up, the performer of sacrifice enjoys life in the heaven planet. When the pious result is exhausted, however, he falls down from the pleasure garden and having been moved against his desire by the force of eternal time. Very nice, right? Yeah? What do you think? But there's some problem. Let us go and find out the problem. Says here, yeah? One cannot find permanent happiness even in the heaven. One thing is that you finish your piety, you're going to fall down, correct? But here he says, one cannot find permanent happiness even on the heavenly planets, which one can attain in next life by ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifice. This is actually what karma kanda is. Karma kanda, karma yoga means what? This thing. It is not karma yoga means you go to office and bring your bag and go. That is not karma yoga. Understand? That is karma bhoga. Try to understand. There are two different things. Even in material heaven, the living entity is disturbed by rivalry with his equals and envy of those superior to him. And since one's residence in heaven is finished with the exhaustion of pious fruitive activity, the denizens of heaven are afflicted by fear, anticipating the destruction of their heavenly life. Thus they resemble kings who are, though enviously admired by ordinary citizens, are constantly harassed by enemy kings and who therefore never attain actual happiness. So there is also proper right in the purport. All those who are born are two things, desire and hate or envy. So even in heaven also there is same thing. In other words, I don't think you're going to be happy. There is no happiness. Rivalry, fighting, right? Correct? Yes? So let us go to another section to understand this. That's why once you have attained human life, it is explained here, what you're supposed to do. So here, the residents of both heaven and hell desire human birth on earth planet because this human life facilitates the achievement of transcendental knowledge and love of Godhead. Whereas neither heavenly nor hellish bodies efficiently provide such opportunity. This is the point. So everybody is aspiring human life. Those who in hell, those who is in heaven. Right? Why? Huh? A human being who is wise should never desire promotion to heavenly planet or resident in hell. Indeed, a human being should also never desire permanent residence on the earth. PR. That's PR there. Yes? For such absorption in the material body, one becomes foolishly negligent of one's actual self-interest. Get it? If you not desire for promotion, you should not desire to go to hell, and neither you should want to stay here. And what are you supposed to do? Huh? Yeah? What are you supposed to do? Eh? A wise person, knowing that although the material body is subject to death, it can still want the perfection of one's life, should not foolishly neglect to take advantage of this opportunity before death arrives. What is that he supposed to do? Huh? What is he supposed to do with this human body? Knowing that one duration of life is being similarly cut down by the passing of days and night, one should be shaken by fear. And this way, giving up material attachment and desire, one understands the Supreme Lord and achieves perfect peace. This is the conclusion, that one should become Krishna conscious. It should be, this is the verse here, this is how you should try. The human body which can afford all benefit in life is automatically obtained by the laws of nature. Although it is a very rare achievement, the human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat having the spiritual master, the captain, and the instruction of the personality of Godhead as favorable wind, impelling it on its course. Considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize his human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered the killer of his own soul. You understand now? If you desire sense gratification, it's going to be bad news. Correct? If you desire to go to heavenly planets, you must be a fool. Right? Yes? And if you don't utilize your human body to surrender to Krishna, then what is your position? You must be the greatest fool. Correct? Yes, sir? Yes. Even the demigods, they say, this human life is so rare, especially one who is born in where? He's trying to get PR in Singapore. Can you imagine? Human life born in Bharatavas. Yes, what is the verse? 5, 9, 5, 19. 5:19 at 22? 5:19:22, huh? Yeah. Demigods continued, after performing this very difficult task of executing Vedic ritualistic sacrifice and undergoing austerities, observing vows and giving charity, we have achieved the position of inhabitants of the heavenly planet. But what's the value of this achievement? Here we are certainly very engaged in material sense gratification, therefore we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. Indeed, because of excessive self-gratification, we have almost forgotten his lotus feet. See, now here, this is the next verse, very important. A short life in the land of Bharatavarsha is preferable to a life achieved in Brahmaloka for millions and billions of years, because even if one is elevated to Brahmaloka, he must return to repeated birth and death. Although life in Bharatavarsha in the lower planetary system is very short, one who lives there can elevate himself to full Krishna consciousness and achieve the highest perfection, that's for sure. Because in India nothing else works. You try to enjoy your senses in India, pretty tough. Yes? I experienced. For me to get, I was cooking. I was in Delhi, I was cooking. And then what happened? The gas ran out. So I thought you just call and the guy will bring the gas. You understand? A simple thing. No? I mean, Singapore, that's what we do. We call and tomorrow, and what tomorrow? 2 minutes the gas. So I thought, okay, never mind, I'll bring the cylinder down to the shop there and I'll just exchange. So I brought the cylinder down and the guy gave me a whole lecture how to. I said, I must have this card, that card. I said, what card? I just want the cylinder. I mean, come on. You understand? Oh, so many things. Water card, this card. I mean, looks like I'm not going to get the gas. He said, no, don't worry. You pay so much more, I will give it to you. I said, okay, now what to do? So I bring the gas in and I start cooking and then the power goes off. I mean, you understand? Then while I am cooking, I am getting this thing together, then the water cut. I said, wow, this is India, what sure. How you cook without light? Of course, gas came, you can't see. Then water problem. I said, wow, this prasadam is going to be very nice taste. Because you are praying hard for Krishna. You understand? India is like that. Everything is difficult to enjoy the senses. So you only can do one thing. You can only one. It's like the Khrushchev. Khrushchev, you know who's Khrushchev? He's the Russian president. He visited India. And he's remarked, India can only function because of God. Without God, it cannot function. You understand? He is a communist. He is the president of communist Russia and he's saying like this, only God can make India work. You just see here, even with short life, by fully surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord, thus one attains Vaikuntha Loka, where there is neither anxiety nor repeated birth in material body. So you try to understand how important India is. And it's a fact, actually, I'm giving you my experience, the realizations, I've been working and doing members and going out and preaching, of course it's nice. But one amazing thing I would appreciate all that every time we are in one town, there's always some holy place nearby to go. So that was unique in India. You just take off, go to the holy place there, take darshan, pray, you know what I mean, and you come back, you're fully charged. That is not there in any part of the world. It's not possible to find that in India. Actually, if you read the CC, I think it is in maybe 23, Madhya 23, where all the holy places, they represent a deity from Vaikuntha. For example, Jagannath Puri, Purushottam is called Purushottam. And this Purushottam deity coming from certain part of Vaikuntha. Like Mayapur, the deity there is Hari, is from, Ranganath is from. So like that the whole India, all part of India, some portion of the spiritual world is there. It's not here, nothing is here, correct? Understand? And if you go there and you just, pay your obeisance, respect, immediately you become surcharged. That's why it says here, fire up, you get purified. And that is required. Because without that purification, then you cannot understand. That's why this now the verse previous to it, the demigod is saying, because of excessive sense gratification, we have already forgotten, almost forgotten, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You understand the difference? In other words, if you come out of India to some place like this, materialized, very polished, then there's a good chance. Actually, it's a fact. I've seen most Indians, running around in shorts. The women are running around what? They don't want to become Indian, they want to become what? A frock. You understand? See how degrading it is. I also was in America, the same thing. Sense gratification is very, very polished in all these countries. Europe, you take it, Australia. Because there you can get the tendency to forget Krishna. This is the problem. That's why the demigods are saying it's better to have a short life. Because why short life? Our 1 year, our 6 months is their 1 day. Another 6 months is their 1 night. Now in other words, 100 days here, 100 years here is only equal to how many days there? 100 days, 3 months. That means 100 years, maximum human life is 100 years. Demigod time is only how long? 100 days. So 100 years, if you just say Hare Krishna, you go back to the spiritual world. For them, in 3 months time I can go back to the spiritual world. Is it a deal or not? Think. Correct? That's why they're saying a short life here is preferred rather than a long life in heavenly planets. You understand? Unfortunately, this is the position, unfortunately. Terrified, about to die, a man collapsed on his bed. Although his voice is faltering and he is hardly conscious of what he is saying, if he utters the holy name of the Supreme Lord, he can be freed from the reaction of his footing work and achieve the supreme destination. But still, people in the age of Kali will not worship the Supreme Lord. This is the position, very pathetic. Yes, you see how sense gratification will completely what? Cover your brains. You cannot see. You understand? That's why you need austerity. Vishwadev said, now that you got this human life, please do tapo divyam putraka. You please do this austerity. Therefore, we have to learn how to cut down our eating, our sleeping, our mating, our defending. All this cut down. Right? And it's a process. So when we learn how to control all these senses that are very highly active, then yes, we will invoke the blessings. We come to the mode of goodness, and from goodness to pure goodness, transcendental goodness, and that way we will develop all the spiritual qualities. And that is why temple is so important, devotees are so important. Because we don't take it seriously, then this country is going to be Mayapur. You want to go to that Mayapur, or you want to stay in this Mayapur? It's up to you. Yes? Right? Your choice. So think carefully. I think the human form is very rare, and most rare that you have got the association of a pure devotee. And if you don't want to take advantage, Krishna can wait for millions and billions of years. Whether you become a worm or a dog or a cat, or he doesn't care. If you bark like a dog, it's going to hurt him. So many dogs are barking. Any problem for him? And you want more dog there, any problem? Any problem? Krishna is, he became a dog. Krishna is going to care? No. So don't waste time. Understand? Forget about all this nonsense career and this and that. There's only one career. What career? Yeah? It says here. It's a very important verse. Etavan eva lokasmin pumsha dharma paraha smrita bhakti yoga bhagavati tan nama grahanati bhi. This is the only thing, devotional service beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the ultimate religious principle for the living entity in human society. Is that what? Ultimate. Chanting. That's why human life we should never use for what is that? Kamasya Nendriya Priti. One verse before that. Huh? One?
1 to 9.
You should not use See, this is what we should do. All occupational engagements are ultimately certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to the sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Understand this? Never. Yeah? The next verse. Kamasya na indriya pritihi. This means you cannot engage in what? Sense gratification. Labho jiveta yavatah jivasya tattva jigyasah Narto yasya karma bir. There should be no other thing to do. See? Life desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Since human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. Yes?
Yes.
Prabhu, I have to go to work now, Prabhu. After this long class, you want to work? What? What? Yeah?
No.
Yes? Prabhu, Sunday is alright, Sunday. Monday, then we'll talk about it. Yes? Yeah? So please think carefully. You have to not waste time. Because time and tide waits for no man. That is the verse, that's not it. What is that? Both by the rising and by setting the sun decrease the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of gods. Yeah? So please think very carefully, mess around, understand. There's no compromisation with Maya. There's no what? If you compromise with Maya, there's only one thing happens. What happens? You're going to regret it. You're going to regret. That's why he said just now, both the rising and the setting of the sun, we should live in fear. Just now we read the verse, right? We should be living in fear that we are any moment. You understand? You not say, Prabhu, still got time, Prabhu. चलता है India, what? कोई बात नहीं. Say like that, I don't know what he is talking about. God made time there. India. I'm telling you, we have to be careful. Yes, don't waste time. We should quickly, it says, just now we read the verse, we should quickly prepare for death while we have this human birth. You read those verses, right? We should not waste time. We should not waste. Chanting is the number one business. What's the business? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. This thing cannot stop. And association of devotees is very important. Right? Okay. I have made my case. Yes?
Yes.
Any questions? Any questions? Sleeping? Eating? Mating? What? Sleeping? And? These 4 things are similar to? Yes. That means if you eat, mate and sleep and defend, you are called 2-legged animal. So we should be careful. You should try to think, why am I sleeping so much? Why am I eating so much? Why am I doing this so much? You should always think to cut down. More time in chanting and more time in, especially chanting. Because if you can read, that's the best. Please read also, because if you don't hear, then our mind will get agitated. Especially nowadays, with your thing on the hand, this phone, right? So much to see, right? Oh, I want to know what's happening in Burma. I don't know. I want to know what's happening in, Oh wow, people are suffering. At least I'm not. See? Let them suffer. They deserve it. Why they deserve? Because they're not chanting. Yes, we philosophize, but what we do, right? Then it happened to us. Why I'm chanting and this is happening? I think God is very unkind, Yeah. Again, another whole philosophy. Yes, apart from surrendering. Correct. So, all right. Thank you very much. No question. We stop here. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.